Welcome back to the Movie Marathon Men. I'm Owen Garner.
And I'm Luke Carr.
And we watch films that make us go
quack.
Howard the Duck.
Today, we've got a ducky double feature, or as we're calling it, a double bill.
Yes.
Howard the Duck, 1985. Some people say that that's where cinema began. What do you think?
Well, some other people say that's where it ended.
I mean, for me, it's where the Marvel multiverse really began. So it's the first Marvel comic character that's been adapted for film. It does introduce the concept of a multiverse immediately. We see a duck world with...
ducks?
Yeah, and they drink duck beer.
I think the longer that we explain this, the less sense it will make. That didn't stop the creators. But yes, this is where cinema began. It's where cinema ended for its director, by the way.
Yes.
Who had directed a fair few films, including American Graffiti and other actually known films. This literally killed his career. He never directed again.
It definitely killed his credibility.
Yes.
This film is from the world of George Lucas. In fact, the duck world does actually have two moons.
Yes, so, the first shot.
So there's a question of whether this could be in the same universe. And that question is also asked of our second feature that we're talking about today, which is Anatar, which is
say it more passionately than that.
is a sort of ducky remake of Avatar.
It's actual Star Wars ships. It's actual Star Wars noises. They play songs that are beat for beat the Star Wars songs.
One of the evil ducks is called Dark Feather.
Yep.
Darth Vader. So our question with both of these films is, are they so bad that they're good, or are they just so bad that they're unenjoyable?
There's the third option. Are they just good?
Are they just good? Are they just good? Well, let's address that first. So, Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
Well, so as you say, we'll go through the plot to arrive at our destination.
Our destination.
Yes, we will arrive at our destination. So the film starts on Duck World. Howard is coming home from his day as a copywriter.
Yes.
Which is also the job of the person who made Anatar. Just copying the writings of better films. He sits down on his sofa.
Yeah.
Whoa! He says in Duck.
Yeah.
And then he is transported to Cleveland.
Yes. We should say, though, lovely music from John Barry, the composer for all James Bond movies, or at least the first few.
Well, none after 1985.
Yeah. Oh, why? Was he busy?
What are your opening impressions of the characters in Howard the Duck when you meet the human characters? Because the ducks are, of course, going to be weird. Actually, no. I've got a question before that, as far as the plot goes. I've got two words for you. Duck boobs.
Yes, duck boobs.
Yes.
So no.
Thumbs up.
No. So when we start the film, it's a PG. We should stress. And the film opens with a warning about just everything, about nudity, violence, coarse language, foul language. Yeah. And you're like, oh, where's this film going to have nudity? That makes no sense.
Minute one.
And minute one is just duck boobs. Yeah. And you're like, what's going on? But, later they do try to provide human boobs, where Howard goes to work at a sort of sex sauna, a massage parlor type place.
A further question I have is, he says he was trained to be a plastic surgeon.
Yes. Yeah.
So are these duck boobs authentic duck boobs? Or are they enhanced?
That might be some of his handiwork.
Those are human being. Well, obviously not. He didn't know what a human being was.
No.
As he made clear when he arrived.
Yeah.
Not that it bothered him. 12 hours in.
12 minutes. He was like, he saw, trigger warning, an attempted rape, and then foiled it with quack foo.
The PG rating for this film
is wild.
Sexual harassment, sexual innuendo, nudity of a duck, attempted rape,
attempted murder
inside 15 minutes. It's already like a hard R.
Yeah.
Straight off. So Howard meets Marty McFly's mother.
Yeah. who's in a sort of punk band.
Yep.
She meets a duck. Well, a duck saves her from the attempted rape that's perpetrated against her, and then she takes the duck home.
Not before they do a will they won't, and they sort of step out, look at each other. Whimsical music plays.
By John Barry.
As the duck looks at the water and goes,
he's really put off by it.
He goes, actually, my back is wet. It's actively keeping water.
There's loads of water on my back.
She goes, yeah, do you want to come back to my house? He walks in, the first thing he says is, you pay to live here?
Yeah, he's quite... It really straddles the line between unlikable lead.
I read that the creators said that they had stripped back the comic book, and they said Howard the Duck is unrecognizable. In the comic book, he's a mean, cantankerous, sort of grouchy guy.
Yeah.
Whereas we made him quite nice.
They did
He's not nice.
He's not nice. He's horrible to everyone. So
so Leah Thompson, the mother from Back to the Future, but her career-defining role, of course, being
Howard the Duck.
Bernadette, what's her name?
What does he say? Because he said it like 5 times, but
She says it so often. Yeah.
Beverly.
She takes him to a scientist.
Played by Tim Robbins from Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
Imagine the caliber of that performance, and then throw that completely out of the window.
So she takes him there in a bin bag with holes in it.
Yes. Yeah, because seeing a duck person will freak people out.
But they see this thing being pulled up.
This woman dragging a talking bag and not freaked out because he's in there protesting. Everyone's like, "Do you want help with that?" And he's like, "Yes." And she's like, "No."
But then he gets fed up with her. 4 hours into knowing her, she leaves, and he's like, "Right, well now I'm in a pickle. I need food and housing
and a job."
You
But a woman tries to place him in a job, and he tries to bite her bum. It's at this point in the movie that every decision seems to be improvised.
I have a question.
Go on.
How is everyone reacting to this duck in such varying ways?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you think is the action? What are they seeing? What do they think they're seeing? Are they seeing a duck like we're seeing him on screen?
Some people think it's a person in a duck costume.
Some people know it's a duck and it's fine. Yeah. Not even the main characters. Some people just go, "Oh, it's a duck. We'll cook him."
Well, like the woman in the employment agency, she's like, "Oh, I get given all the sort of kooky cases." Yeah. She doesn't go, "Yes, you're a duck." She goes,
"I give it all the ducks."
You're a slightly unusual character.
Yeah.
Not you're literally a mallard.
I have a second question about not this, but similar logic of the film. We know from the post that he receives at the beginning of the film, where he's sorting through his
that he
bills,
has it. Yeah.
That his surname is the Duck.
Yes, it's Howard T. Duck.
But he's from a planet of ducks.
Yeah.
So, it's
Luke.
Hello, Owen.
Human.
So after he's got his job, he storms back into the bar.
Yep.
With Leah Thompson, because he's realised that it's not better on the outside, and she's the only person to have been nice to him.
Yeah.
So he then goes to the bar, speaks to the manager who's pimping her out in a PG film.
Yeah.
And he quack foos them all.
He does.
A few times. And then gets the money to buy their freedom. And something else. What does he do? No, that's it. He just
that's
frees
that
them.
day, and then they go to bed. Yes, but the Tim Robbins character turns up and is like, "I think I've quacked the case," except he doesn't say that because they actually go quite light on the duck puns.
They go so light on the duck puns.
They do a couple of like written ones, but they're not like saying them the whole time.
No,
which I think they could have hammed it up more.
All of the puns was just him saying, replacing the word man or boy or girl or whatever with just duck.
Duck, yeah. But so Tim Robbins turns up and is like, "I think I've quacked the case."
Yes.
And runs off. And then so they go back to the flat.
Yeah.
And him and Beverly start to get frisky. And it's like, what is going on? At first he's into it and then he's not. She's into it, but she's pretending. And a bunch of scientists just walk into her open home.
At like midnight.
At midnight. They just walk in and she's like in bed with Howard. And they see a silhouette of them kissing. none of this is false. I feel like
none of this is false.
And then they're like, "We've worked out where you're from, Howard.
It's a duck planet."
It's a duck planet, and he's like, "Well, yeah." No, but he's not like that. He's not like, "Yeah, I'm from a duck planet."
Yeah, they're like, we fired a laser in the sky or something, and we, I guess, missed. We hit this other planet, and just a single feather came back down.
And he's like, "How about my living room?" You're like, "Yeah, how did it hit just your living room?"
Just your living room. From a right angle, because he gets pulled out like that.
He does, and then up.
Yeah. What I was going to come on to, we've just been talking about the writing and the story of everything.
Yeah.
I think the duck, Howard,
actually
worked quite well in this film. Like as a
practical effect,
as a costume,
like as a sort of element in the film. You sort of forget that like it's not real.
Yeah.
Like it's because it emotes quite well.
Genuinely, and it moves perfectly because it's a person in there.
Yeah,
and but it doesn't feel like a child.
But
moving around.
But the face, there is a lot of emoting that is done. The way that the eyes work and stuff like that. And the build does move slightly.
I would challenge anyone to make human words look natural coming out of a bill.
Yeah,
I would challenge anyone.
So he then goes off with the scientists, and here is where
and just because we need to say this, for he doesn't get off with the scientists because you might get confused.
Yeah, he doesn't get off with the scientists. He's just doing that with the human woman.
Just with the one human woman.
Yeah, who's into ducks for some reason.
Who's into two things: ducks and punk music.
I've got two moods, and that's it. It's just ducks and punk. So the sort of plot begins. Really, it's from that point that the film sort of actually happens.
So they're arrested and such stuff happens. Oh, Howard. What is worth saying is he goes to a diner and everyone sees that they think a child in a Halloween
in
costume.
A costume. But it's a month before Halloween.
It's a month before Halloween, and then they go, "Oh, well, it's a duck then." To which they go, "There's only one answer. All 35 of us shall pick him up like he's won a trophy, carry him across the room, put him down in the kitchen,
like he's so they're seasoning Howard.
They season him. They put celery in his mouth because we all know celery goes well with duck."
Yeah, I don't know.
Uncooked duck. And then the chef is about to cleave Cleveland. It all makes sense now.
I don't understand why this film doesn't have a larger cult following.
I don't even think it needs a cult following.
So you think it's just good?
I think this film is just good.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that matters there is that they made a film called Howard the Duck.
Yes.
They know the jokes are on purpose.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. This is on purpose.
Yeah.
And it is hitting.
Yeah.
Like, it's campy for real.
Yes, on purpose.
I think that we were laughing with the film.
Yes.
If this wasn't such a famous flop, box office flop.
Yeah. Well, because it's so clearly massive budget.
Yeah. It's huge.
Because the action is genuinely exciting.
Yeah.
The effects are genuinely thrilling.
Yeah.
The costuming is brilliant. As you say, the sets, there's loads of practical location sets. The interiors are great. The exteriors are great.
Yeah.
Like there's, the apartment looks great and it's big. And it's not like, oh, that's very clearly an office. Oh, that's very clearly the same room but just turned around to look like this. Like,
yeah,
it's a movie. You've won me round. I was going to say it's so bad it's good, but I think you're right in that this film tried to do something and did it really well.
Like if it made a campy joke and we laughed at the joke because it was campy,
yeah,
That's just good filmmaking.
That's just
I don't know
actually
what
good.
to tell you.
Yeah.
It's just, this film, as we said, it was a box office bomb. I don't know the exact numbers actually, but it did not make its money back, I don't think. And the chain of events from this film bombing have led to a remarkable sort of feature in the world of film. George Lucas had basically bankrupted himself by making Skywalker Ranch after Star Wars. This film was supposed to get back the money from the money he'd wasted on his after Star Wars projects, and it then clearly flops.
His after Star Wars projects, including this and Captain EO.
Oh yeah, but this one specifically really like bankrupted him properly, and he then had to sell some of Lucasfilm animations. That was what he was going to sell.
Right.
And the person who bought it off him was Steve Jobs for an above market valuation, because I guess they were friends.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
And with this new studio that Steve Jobs had, they turned it into Pixar.
Right.
So
wow.
without Howard the Duck, we don't have Pixar.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a story.
But we agree.
We're in agreement.
This is just a good film.
Yeah. And it changed cinema forever. Paving the way for many a duck feature to follow. But no one was brave enough until Anatar. There haven't been a slew of duck movies since Howard the Duck. And finally someone has thought, do you know what, I think it's time to make another duck movie. So the effects are quite similar, really.
I was going to say, I'm surprised we're starting this off on a positive.
Yeah.
The face makeup for these ducks, like the head bit.
The like head bit.
Is actually really good.
Yeah.
Like, not incredible.
No.
So this film starts, and it shocked us in Italian.
Because we love foreign film.
So it's an Italian film, which is parodying Avatar only 15 years after release. These are the survivors of Duck World, not Howard the Duck World, although that's not confirmed.
It's not denied.
It's not denied.
Like it could be.
The humans in this film are not on Earth. They're on Pandora. Pandoro.
Lawyers. It's not Pandora.
Which does look suspicious.
Our legal team was very specific on this.
So they are a bunch of Italians from Italian town, about 12 of them, on this entire planet.
No, there's another town as well.
Oh, there's two towns.
There's 12 of them as well.
They live on this planet, and it's basically just an Italian village.
Yeah. Because that was free to film on, clearly.
So the ducks arrive, and the first thing we learn, apart from that ducks poo themselves by laying eggs, they find the planet Pandoro, and they go, apples.
It's full of apples.
It's full of apples. Now, I want to...
Do ducks like apples?
Firstly, do ducks like apples? Secondly, did I see more than 4 apples in the rest of this film's runtime?
No, you saw quite a lot of them on the spaceship.
You saw so many apples being dissected by the ducks.
You're right, the ratio that apples were mentioned to...
Apple mentioned, apple shown.
it was like they saw like show don't tell, and they were like, no, I'm gonna tell them about apples. Tell, don't show. Just I really thought that it was going to be like they were expecting the planet to be uninhabited, all turn up and be like, it's not full of apples, it's full of apes.
Yes.
Is what I thought they were going to do.
Well, because this film in other places does sound like it's mistranslated in the subtitles, but it isn't. Because we, of course, later on, someone sees a spaceship and goes, nice omelette. And we went, that can't be what he said.
But, just for clarity's sake, he does repeat it like a minute later. He goes, nice omelette. And she goes, anyway.
She goes, quack. So these ducks reverse Avatar.
Yes.
They send a duck princess.
Yes.
Why it's the princess, I don't know.
And not just like a foot duck.
Why not a regular duck or the cleaning duck who's called Quick? The scientist duck was called Quackenstein.
Quackenstein. Yeah.
Some of the people just call Quack. Mr. Quack. The duck stuff is Star Wars.
Yes.
The people stuff is...
Because they literally have a Star Wars ship in the movie.
Yeah. What it tries to do on the human planet is it tries to tackle deep social issues of slavery and Donald Trump and sort of... Misogyny and false news.
Like racism.
The thing with Avatar is the humans are bad, and he meets the Na'vi who are nice, and he goes, "Well, these are the good guys. Are we the baddies?" Is what he says.
Yeah.
In this film, I don't know who's worse, the humans and the ducks.
The villagers are awful.
The villagers, I would say, are probably worse than the duck people.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of Princess Avia going down and going, "Oh my gosh, I'm the baddie.
Yeah.
We should leave these poor people alone." Her response is, "Kill these people." And then yourselves. Leave only me and Germano, who by the way is the male lead. Only me and Germano alive.
Yeah. He has quite a strange relationship with her.
Mother.
It's odd. So his mother abandoned him 2 weeks ago. So she's maybe just on holiday. She honestly might turn up like next week.
Yeah.
He says, "Here are some of my mother's old clothes." It's like, they're not old. They're like literally just from 2 weeks ago.
He is the village klutz.
Yes.
I don't know. He's kind of ridiculed for... I don't even know what. He goes up at the start and everyone
he's the
goes,
outsider. Everyone
boom.
already hates him. It's because he's a flat earther.
He's not. He's not. He's a hemispherical.
He's a semicircle earther.
Hemispherical.
Yeah,
He goes up and he goes, "Guys, we live on a hemisphere," and they go, "Oh, we do," and he goes, "Yes, yes," and they go, "Really?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, yeah," and then they go, "We believe you. Good job, Germano." And he goes, "Yeah. Do you want to come check with me? 6 of us go over there," and they go, "No, we'll kill you." And they whack him with some chairs.
Yeah. They walk towards him with knives brandished, and then walk away from him, and he's like, "Gosh, I've got a bonk on the head."
Yeah.
It's like
he prays then for the love of his life to appear, and then the duck falls from the sky.
Yes.
She's quacking about. She doesn't have to use her hands to eat food. She just plants her face in it.
But previously, she had used her hands.
The scene moments before, she was perfectly skilled.
Piloting a spaceship.
Piloting this spaceship with every single control labelled, and every label being in perfect English.
Not Italian, English.
And not Italian. Not quack. Not duck.
And I'm pretty sure they eat on the duck spaceship.
They know what apples are.
They know what apples are. They're obsessed with apples.
How do you eat an apple without your hands?
It's bobbing for apples, but just continuing to bob.
They sort of frolic a bit, I think.
Oh yeah, they frolic in a river for like 5 minutes.
Whilst not an original song, but I don't think it's ever been licensed by another film. Please.
An exclusive song.
Yeah. She, at another point, wins a slave by slapping him to sleep. And then she sets the slave free.
Yes.
And how does the villain learn this information?
Well, because
he kisses another slave.
Yes.
And their memories are transmitted through kissing each other.
But it's because she sheds a blue feather, which we linger on for a solid
We linger
minute.
on it for too long for me to put a clip of it, because it would breach the terms of YouTube's fair use. So someone grabs the feather, returns to Mayor. What's the mayor's name?
Mayor Crap.
And Mayor Crap snogs the Neanderthal, who, by the way, the slaves are called Neanderthals.
Yes.
Snogs the Neanderthal to learn that she slapped him all over the place to
knock him out,
and then left a feather.
But he returns to his family, so it's like a different Neanderthal.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they clearly have a hive mind.
Yeah.
Which isn't acknowledged.
So they think she's a witch, and he cunningly subverts this line of questioning by saying she's not a witch or a foreigner, because she's actually someone that we put her in a well.
She's my cousin, and we put her in a well for 30 years
because she lost the ability to speak, and the humidity of the well would soothe her vocal cords. To which the mayor goes, a woman that can't speak, I'll buy her off you. Oh, we have to say, of course, there's a tragic death on Duck Ship. Twice.
Oh,
you get a fake out death for Duck. You see tragically Dark Feather killing Dr. Quackenstein in a tanning bed, only to then try and force choke him, and then just actually choke him
because the force choke wasn't working.
So then I don't remember exactly how this all happens, but the two leads kiss, and suddenly he goes, and then all the duck stuff comes out.
She's a 10, but
but she's a duck.
She's a duck, and he's like, oh, I don't know, because he's clearly fancied her the whole time.
They get eggs chucked at them.
Yeah.
Then it's time for the big finale.
Yeah, and it's very exciting. You think there's a big old showdown coming. You're really excited because the villagers are awful and all of the ducks are awful because they're led by a space Nazi that's a duck.
Yes.
And you're thinking, I can't wait for them to all just fight and see what happens and see someone sacrifice themselves to win out as good. But no, it doesn't happen because they break the fourth wall and say, no, sorry, we actually don't have the budget for this, which is brilliant. We're starting to approach the point where we need to ask the questions about this movie.
Is it so bad? Is it good?
Yeah.
I think that we enjoyed this as a double bill with Howard the Duck straight into Duck number 2.
Yeah.
If you sit down just to watch Anatar, I don't think, and especially by yourself,
I don't think you'd enjoy it.
I don't think this is by itself enjoyable.
I think you're right. I think it's because we watched Howard the Duck immediately before.
We were in a very ducky mood.
Yeah.
I think it'll be hard to convince someone to watch an Avatar Star Wars parody, but with ducks, made for 20 euros. By
a bunch of weird Italians.
By a weird Italian that didn't want to have his name credited. A fact we not actually mentioned, sorry.
Which we should have.
This is from the Alan Smithy.
Or Smythe. I don't know. Filmed so bad that they were disowned by directors through the Directors Guild, allowed to credit it to Alan Smythe. I'm going to say Smythe. Yeah. Alan Smythe, a fictitious character.
I had on Amazon 0 reviews. On IMDb,
it had quite
3 reviews.
Unless do you reckon all the villagers doubled as ducks? As we said with talking about this movie, there were questions that you would ask seriously like that of just like, but he's covered in yolk. I hope that's not going to be an issue when they try and turn him into a duck.
That won't complicate the experiment.
Yeah, but he's covered in yolk. Will this complicate the experiment? For me, it's but it's not so bad because a lot of it is done quite competently.
Yeah.
In a weird kind of way of like it's done competently. So I think you're right. I think it doesn't have it doesn't fit the it doesn't fit the bill of so bad it's good, but also it's not competent enough to be good.
No.
So it is just bad.
When you eliminate all the what you're left with is
it's this Occam's Razor, but about a duck movie. But yeah, I think that's the conclusion.
That's the conclusion. Howard the Duck, just good.
Yes.
Anatar, just bad.
Together
as a double bill.
It's perfect.